야, 소야. 안 소.
응.
야, 안 소.
아, 뭐야. 벌써 점심이야?
너냐?
Weak Hero Class 2 has definitely left fans wanting more, especially after the way the second season played out. It premiered on April 25 and picked right up where things got intense, this time following Yeon Si-eun, played by Park Ji-hoon, as he starts fresh at Yoonjong High after being expelled from his old school. But even with a change of scenery, trouble isn't far behind. Violence seems to follow him like a shadow, and he soon finds himself in another tough situation, teaming up with new classmates like Park Hoo-min, played by Ryo-eun, So Jin-tae, Choi Min-young, and Go Hyun-tak, Lee Min-jae to deal with the school's bullies. Now, even though there hasn't been an official confirmation about a third season, the cast members themselves are already tossing around ideas about what could happen next. In a recent chat with Screen Rant, both Park Ji-hoon and Choi Min-young opened up about where they imagine their characters could go if Weak Hero Class 3 becomes a reality. Choi Min-young, who plays Jun-tae, talked about how he'd love to explore what happens to his character now that he's finally stepped out of his shell. In Season 2, Jin-tae experiences a major transformation. He starts doing things he's never done before, standing up for himself and those around him, and Choi thinks it would be interesting to see him lean into this new version of himself. His character has come a long way, and continuing that growth could be a powerful storyline. He was clear, though, that the decision to make another season isn't up to him. It's something that ultimately rests in the hands of the fans and the show's creators. That said, his interest in continuing Jin-tae's journey was obvious. Park Ji-hoon also chimed in with his own thoughts about what might happen next. He imagined a darker path for Si-eun, who has always been on the side of justice. Park brought up the possibility of Si-eun going rogue, maybe as a result of losing friends or enduring something traumatic. It would definitely flip the story in a bold new direction and offer a very different look at the character. After spending 2 full seasons standing for what's right, seeing him break bad would be an unexpected and dramatic shift. Like Choi, Park acknowledged that the idea is just speculation, but still his suggestion adds another layer to the excitement fans feel about what's next. Looking at how Season 2 ended, it does feel like Weak Hero Class 3 is already being set up. There's been real growth for characters like Jun-tae, and the emotional journey they've been on seems far from over. Choi even mentioned how Si-eun served as a kind of role model for Jun-tae, giving him the courage to fight for himself and for others. That dynamic could definitely keep evolving in another season. And honestly, Season 2 wrapped up in a way that leaves a lot of open doors. Much like how Season 1 led smoothly into Season 2, this latest chapter doesn't feel like the end. In fact, there were even 2 post-credit scenes in the finale, something that usually hints at future developments, including a possible new villain who could shake things up in Season 3. So while the actors were careful not to say too much, there's a strong sense that the groundwork for Season 3 is already there. And from what we've seen, there's still a bunch of story left to tell, especially for Si-eun, Jun-tae, and the rest of the Yoonjang High crew. Even though Si-eun going rogue seems like a bit of a stretch when you think about the show's theme of weak heroes rising up to do the right thing, the concept is definitely interesting. He's grown a lot, and his relationships with his classmates have evolved. Now that the stakes are even higher and the tension has reached new levels, there's definitely more room for his story to go in surprising directions. Let's not forget what happened at the very end of Weak Hero Class 2. Na Baek-jin loses a brutal fight against Baku and some of Yoonjang High's students, failing to pull the school into the union. After that, Baek-jin suddenly vanishes and nobody knows where he went until the post-credit scene reveals that Si-eun and his friends are attending Baek-jin's funeral. So now we know he's dead, even though the show doesn't spell out exactly how he died. Still, it's not hard to connect the dots. Earlier in the series, Mr. Choi threatened Baek-jin, saying that if he couldn't get Yoonjang to join the union, he'd be eliminated. So Baek-jin failing his mission and then disappearing fits the pattern. Mr. Choi likely followed through on that threat. Now that Baek-jin is gone, the union doesn't have a leader. And that creates a power vacuum, and Gyum Song-jae, who had been Baek-jin's right-hand man, seems like the natural person to take over. Mr. Choi even asks him to step into Baek-jin's shoes, but Song-jae refuses. He's seen how twisted that world is, and he wants no part of it. That refusal leaves the Union vulnerable. It sets the stage for a new chapter where the fight between good and evil could really blow up. Baku, Si-eun, Jun-tae, and Go-tak are all standing in the way of Mr. Choi's ambitions. With Baek-jin out of the picture, Mr. Choi needs a new plan, and the opposition he's facing is stronger than ever. Baku in particular is probably looking for revenge and may want to bring the Union down for good. The Union has been a key part of the story since Season 1's post-credit teaser, which first hinted at the organization's existence. In Season 2, we finally got a deeper look into what the Union really is. It's essentially a criminal network made up of delinquents from 3 different high schools near Yoonjang. Each school has its own leader, but Na Baek-jin of Yo-il High was the one in charge until his death. And even he had to answer to someone more dangerous, Mr. Choi. The Union's operations are pretty shady. They run scams like stealing phones and motorcycles, and the whole thing is run like a gang. Their HQ is a bowling alley, which Mr. Choi uses for laundering money. He hires teens from local schools and keeps them loyal with regular payments. What makes the Union so effective is how tightly controlled it is thanks to Baek-jin's strategy. He used burner accounts and made sure only he and Song-jae had access to them, so the police couldn't trace anything back to them. Key members of the Union include Na Baek-jin from Yo-il High, Gyum Sung-jae from Gang-hak High, and Do Sung-muk and Baek Dong-hae from Yeon-sung High. Together, they've managed to run this underground network without getting caught. But one school stood apart, Yoonjang. That's because Baku flat out refused to let his school join the Union. In retaliation, Union members kept targeting Yoonjang students, trying to pressure them into submission, but Baku held his ground. His refusal to fold earned him deep respect from his peers, and it's clear that he's one of the biggest obstacles standing in the way of Mr. Choi's control. Now with Baek-jin gone and Song-jae refusing to take over, the Union is in a fragile state. That leaves an opening for Baku and his friends to strike back. But Mr. Choi isn't going to walk away quietly. All signs point toward a major clash coming in Season 3, where the two sides, students fighting for justice and adults exploiting teens for profit, are bound to collide in a bigger way than ever before. And all of this sets the perfect backdrop for those character arcs that Park and Choi talked about. Jun-tae continuing to grow into someone who stands up for his people, and Si-eun possibly facing a moral crisis that pulls him in a darker direction. It all fits into the chaos that's bound to unfold. So even if nothing's been confirmed yet, it's easy to see why fans are hopeful. Season 2 didn't just wrap up past storylines, it opened up a whole new wave of questions, conflicts, and potential character twists. And if Weak Hero Class 3 does get the green light, it already has everything it needs to hit the ground running. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.